It started on a rainy Friday in October, the kind of day where everything felt a little out of place, like the world itself was pausing for something unspoken. My roommate, Kayla, had warned me that her brother was coming to visit for the weekend. I didn't think much of it. Honestly, after a week of college exams and working 2 shifts at the campus bookstore, I barely had the energy to care. That was until I opened the front door and met his eyes. His name was Ethan. Tall, with slightly tousled brown hair, a navy blue hoodie clinging to his lean frame, and a crooked smile that managed to disarm me in less than 5 seconds. Kayla shoved past him with 2 suitcases, complaining about the Uber driver, but I was rooted to the spot, blinking like I had just stepped into a movie scene. "This is my roommate, Olivia," Kayla said, tossing her keys onto the table. "Liv, this is Ethan, my pain-in-the-neck older brother." "Nice to meet you," I said, awkwardly extending my hand. Ethan shook it, his touch surprisingly warm despite the cold drizzle still clinging to his jacket. "Likewise. Thanks for letting me crash," he said with a grin. And that was how it began. At first, it was normal. Ethan set up camp in our small living room, bringing with him an old duffel bag and a book about hiking the Appalachian Trail. He was between jobs, he said, trying to figure things out. Kayla rolled her eyes every time he mentioned it, but I listened. I was fascinated, actually. Unlike most people I met on campus, Ethan didn't seem in a rush to prove himself. He was calm, observant, and didn't fill the silence with small talk. When he laughed, it was full and easy. That first night, we all ate pizza and watched a horror movie. Kayla fell asleep halfway through. Ethan and I didn't. "You're not scared?" he whispered as a particularly grotesque scene played out. "Not really," I lied. "Liar," he said, smirking. We ended up talking until 2 a.m., long after the credits had rolled. I learned that he used to work in Colorado as a ski instructor, that he once lived out of his truck for 3 months during a road trip, and that he hated mint chocolate anything. He listened when I told him about my writing classes, my unfinished novel, and my dream of one day moving to New York. He didn't tease me like others did. He said, "You've got that spark. Don't let anyone dim it." I didn't know then how much that would stick with me. By Sunday morning, I found myself wishing he would stay longer. Kayla, on the other hand, was already planning his exit. "I love him, but he needs to get his life together," she muttered while making coffee. "He'll charm the socks off everyone and then vanish." She wasn't wrong. Ethan had a kind of rogue charisma. But he didn't vanish. At least not then. That afternoon, when Kayla went to a study session, Ethan and I were left alone again. I was on the couch, pretending to read. He sat across from me, bouncing a tennis ball against the wall. "What's your book about?" he asked, catching the ball midair. "It's not finished. Doesn't mean it's not worth hearing." I looked at him. Really looked. His tone wasn't flirty or mocking, it was genuine. "It's about a girl who falls in love with someone she's not supposed to." "That's a story worth telling," he said. He tossed the ball aside and came over, sitting beside me this time. Close. Too close. I should have moved, but I didn't. "You ever fall for someone you weren't supposed to?" he asked, his voice low. I turned toward him, heart pounding. "Yes," I whispered. He leaned in just slightly. I could have stopped him. I didn't. When our lips finally met, it wasn't rushed or frantic. It was slow, soft, and electrifying. And just like that, Ethan became my secret. He stayed one more night, saying Kayla offered to let him leave Monday instead. She didn't know what had happened between us, and we weren't planning on telling her. Ethan and I exchanged numbers, and when he left, he kissed me on the cheek so casually that Kayla didn't suspect a thing. Weeks passed. We texted late at night, sometimes called when Kayla was asleep. He was staying with a friend out of state, but promised to visit again soon. I should have ended it, but I didn't want to. I never felt this way before. I started writing more, inspired by our story. I wrote in class, in cafes, even during work breaks. My professor complimented my emotional depth. If only she knew where it came from. Thanksgiving break arrived, and Kayla decided to fly home for a few days. Ethan knew. He showed up the second day she was gone, driving 3 hours just to see me. We spent 2 full days together in our apartment, cooking, laughing, talking, and yes, kissing. I don't want to hide this, he said, brushing hair from my face as we lay on the couch. But if Kayla finds out, I know, I whispered. She'll hate us both. We fell asleep tangled in each other's arms. It felt right and wrong all at once. Winter came, and with it, complications. Kayla began to notice. She'd make little comments like, "Why are you smiling at your phone so much?" Or, "You look like someone in love." I played it off, but guilt gnawed at me. Then one night, she barged into my room holding her phone. "Why is Ethan texting you this late?" she demanded. My stomach dropped. I don't know. Maybe just to say hi. Can't stop thinking about you? That doesn't sound like hi. I was caught. There was no clever lie to spin. "You've been seeing him?" she asked, stunned. I nodded. "For how long?" "Since that weekend he visited." She looked betrayed, hurt, angry. "He does this, Olivia. He charms girls and disappears. He's done it since high school. I warned you." "But it's different this time," I said softly. "He's different with me." She laughed bitterly. "That's what they all say." She left the room, slamming the door. Ethan called me later that night. I told him everything. He sighed heavily on the other end. "I'll talk to her," he said. "No, you shouldn't. She deserves to hear it from me." He tried. He drove up the next day, but Kayla wouldn't even look at him. She moved out the following week, transferring to a single dorm. Our apartment felt hollow after that. Things between Ethan and me became strained. The guilt, the tension, the way things exploded. It all hung in the air between us. He tried to fix it, but I was pulling away. I missed my roommate. I missed our late-night talks, our random takeout dinners. I missed having a best friend. Eventually, Ethan said he was leaving town, heading west to start a new job. He asked if I wanted to come. I said no. It wasn't because I didn't love him. I think a part of me always will. But something had broken in the process, something I couldn't glue back together. We said goodbye at the train station. No drama. Just one long hug, a few tears, and the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. It's been a year since then. I finished my novel. It got picked up by a small publisher. The main character still falls for someone she shouldn't. But in the end, she finds strength on her own. Kayla and I spoke again. Slowly, cautiously. She forgave me eventually, though we're no longer roommates. Some things can't go back to how they were. But we found a way forward. As for Ethan, he still sends postcards from wherever he ends up. Colorado, Oregon, Montana. He never stays long, but he always writes one thing at the end. "Hope you're still writing." I am. Because he was my roommate's brother, and my secret, but more th.